So to create a basic program in Netbeans, you'll start out by seeing something like this when it's loaded. Click on File and click on New Project. And Java application, you don't really need to fiddle with anything else. And if we untick these two boxes, then we can, that's probably a good place to start, because we start with something empty and then we can build it up and I can explain as we go. So like I say, you might like to follow this as I go along. You might like to follow this as well. Repeat what I'm doing on your machine. Give it a name. So I'm going to call this an app of some kind. And there it is. You should see something now that's very similar to this. So you've got your source packages, which is the code that you're going to end up writing. This is where your code and all your files will go. And underneath that, you should have your libraries, which will be full, and you can expand it into many, many other things. Long story short, libraries are pre-written code that you can reuse. So you don't have to keep writing your own code from scratch every time. Sometimes you can reuse other people's code. That's what the libraries are all about. So the next thing you do, you need to create a package of some kind. And into the package, this is where you will be putting all your files. And these are all these are all the bits and pieces that when you eventually create the program, or everything in the package will be there with the program. So you don't end up with bits of it missing. So, but it's still grey at this point, and there's nothing in it. So we need to actually put something in here. And the fun thing to do, and if you're just going to start making a base app that does something on your desktop to do, I don't know, a notepad or some similar program, then select JFrame form. So I right-click on that, I get a new JFrame form. And we can give it a name, so I'm going to call this app screen. And then we see something like this, a nice big grey canvas in the middle. And this is what we will see when we run it. Over here on the right, we have a number of different bits, for want of a better word, objects that we can place onto our canvas. So we can put a button on there, or we can put a nice big text box, or we can put maybe somewhere for people to enter text, or we can put all manner of different things. Maybe some slider if you want to change something bigger or smaller, or you can code that to do different things. Or maybe a menu bar or anything else that maybe you want to add in there. And it is literally just a case of dragging and dropping these objects in. When you're done, you click the big green button. And there it is. There's the app that we've just written in a few seconds. It doesn't do much at the moment, but nevertheless, we have a simple app. Doesn't do much. So what you need to do next is figure out exactly how to code the buttons to do things. So if you right-click on one of the objects and go to Events, Action, Action Performed, then that will take you straight to the code. Any code that you write here will be run when you click that button. So often, this is where knowing where to put the code is usually the first step. So that's where you would put code that would then get run. So there it is. The Java worksheet that I've uploaded, the GUI worksheet, will then give you some more details on how to actually craft some code to go in there and do stuff, to take input from your boxes and do things when you click on the buttons. And if you want to know more about these different objects, then the sensible thing to do is just do a search for it. There are manuals within Netbeans as well that can be very useful. So that's the base app. That's a sensible place to start. So you can flick back and forth between the design view and the code view. So that's the code that gets run when the button gets run, when you click the button. But there's other bits in there as well that we'll look at in more detail in a moment.